Hi, welcome to today's video. Today, we are going to analyze the full story of Fazbear Frights, Into the Pit. This video contains spoilers. If you haven't read the book, please consider watching the video. Now let's get to the story. Oswald sits in the car with his father and they talk about how boring and deserted this town is. Before, when Oswald was 7, it wasn't like that. At that time a lot of businesses opened here, but after that the factory that was the main source of money closed down. Many businesses closed and people lost their jobs. Most of the people moved out, including Oswald's best friend Ben. Oswald's family stayed in town because Oswald's mother worked at the local hospital. They didn't want to move away from their grandmother who lives in town. And they also didn't have much money. It's the last day of school. Everyone in the class has been talking about where they're going for the holidays. But Oswald wasn't going on any vacation or camping, so he sat quietly and listened to them. Oswald's dad offered to drive him to the library every morning and pick him up in the afternoon. Oswald liked that. At least he wouldn't have such a boring holiday. He woke up every morning to the smell of bacon and coffee that his mother made. He only saw her in the morning because she only worked the rest of the day. Then his dad took him to the library. He also gave him money to buy pizza for lunch at Jeff's Pizzeria. Jeff's Pizzeria was the only business left in town, but it felt scary and abandoned just like this town. Even the man named Jeff who worked here seemed scary and sad. There was also an empty podium in the pizzeria that probably hadn't been used in decades. There was also a pit of dirty balloons. Not many people went to the pizzeria, so Oswald could read in peace. Not all of the pizza was sold that day, so Oswald got a few extra slices. While he was eating, his father texted him that he would pick him up. The next day, Oswald was sad and moody. Even pancakes for breakfast didn't cheer him up. He had an argument with his dad in the car. He was tired of living in poverty. In the library, he was sitting silently reading magazines like every day. When he went to the restaurant again, he decided to play a prank on his dad. So he hiked in an abandoned pit full of balloons. The pit was dirty, unused and dusty. When Oswald climbed into the pit, he coughed. "He'll be here in 5 minutes. I'm looking forward to his reaction when I'm not here." But after a while he heard a child's laughter from outside. Next to him was another kid. They introduced themselves and then Oswald emerged from the balloons to find that he was no longer in Jeff's pizza place. But it looked exactly the same, only there were lots of kids with their parents and it wasn't as deserted. Strange robots stood on the stage. One looked like a bear, another like a rabbit, and the third like a duck. Oswald wondered where he is, but he was interested in the local slot machines with old games. But the kids pointed out that they were new games. They always have new things at Freddy Fazbear's. That day he met guys named Mike and Chip who were about the same age as Oswald. He was playing video games with them that's when he realized that he must have gone through that hole to the past. While playing the arcade, he noticed a strange employee who was disguised in a yellow rabbit suit. Then he realized he had to go back to the present because his dad must be worried about him. Deciding to go back the way he came, he dived into the bubble pool and reappeared back at Jeff's abandoned restaurant. He got a message on his cell phone from his dad that he would be there in 2 minutes. This means that during the time Oswald was in the past, no time passed in the present. In the morning, Oswald was happier than usual. His mom noticed it too and asked him why. But of course he didn't tell her that he found a ball pit in Jeff's Pizzeria that can be used to travel back in time. So he preferred not to answer her. From that day on, he went out with his new friends from the past every day. They ate pizza together, played games, and talked about movies, animal robots, and a strange yellow rabbit. But then it changed. When he woke up one day, he went immediately to the pit with balloons, but he no longer heard laughter, but screams, cries and panic. It wasn't like before. He ran around the pizzeria trying to find his friends, Chip and Mike, but to no avail. When he opened the door of one of the rooms, he saw something terrible. 6 dead children who weren't any older than he was. He could hear police sirens blaring from outside. A yellow rabbit pounced on him out of nowhere. Oswald quickly ran into the balloon pit, wishing he could return to the present without any consequences. He only woke up from the balloon pit when his father pulled him out of it. He was very angry. Out of nowhere, yellow hands emerged from the balloon pit, grabbed Oswald's father and pulled him down. Then a yellow rabbit emerged from the balloon pit, the one chasing him. He went to the car with Oswald as if nothing had happened. Oswald was scared and didn't understand why Jeff didn't help him because he saw the whole incident. He also didn't understand where his father had gone, but the yellow rabbit pulled him into the car and drove him all the way home. When they were outside the house, Oswald quickly ran to his room and texted his mother that something had happened to his father. His mother called to him, but Oswald wrote her that he could not speak now because the yellow rabbit might hear him. After a long time, Oswald heard a knock on the door. It was his mother. She scolded him for having to leave work unnecessarily because nothing was happening. The mother said their father was watching TV in the bedroom. In the morning, Oswald was happy. He thought it had all been a dream. But when he came to breakfast, he saw the rabbit sitting at the table. Oswald was startled, but his mother told him to sit down. Oswald asked where his father was. She answered her mother that she was sitting across from him, but the yellow rabbit was sitting across from him. When he drove the yellow rabbit to the first day of school, the rabbit didn't answer any of Oswald's questions, just sat quietly. He couldn't concentrate at all at school. When school was over, Oswald preferred to take the bus so he wouldn't have to sit in the car with the yellow rabbit again. When they ate dinner, the yellow rabbit didn't eat at all. He just stared fixedly at Oswald. It was time to do something about it. When it was night, he went to his parents' bedroom where there was a yellow rabbit staring at the ceiling. It was not clear if he was asleep or not. He sneaked out of the house to Jeff's pizzeria. Luckily, it was still open. He immediately went to look in the ball pool. He found a motionless body there. Maybe it was dead, but Oswald still tried to pull it out. Suddenly, he feels a breath behind him. It was the yellow rabbit. The yellow rabbit immediately attacked him, tried to bite his neck, but fortunately only bit his hand. Oswald pushed him into the netting surrounding the balloon pit. The yellow rabbit got tangled in them and couldn't get out. As he tried to get out of the nets, they got tangled around his neck. After an endless moment, he stopped moving, probably dying. At that moment, Oswald's father woke up, not understanding what he was actually doing there. Oswald imagined that the father had lost consciousness. Then they went home and talked as they always did, Oswald happy that it had turned out that way. Jeff calls Oswald because he forgot the soda he ordered there.